Okay guys, we're about to example 3 right now. I'm sorry, example 2 where we left off with most classes, rotating a figure. And I think one thing I need to clear up, especially for you guys in first through third hour, is that we talked about if they gave no direction, that our rotation would be clockwise. Well, for whatever reason, this assignment is choosing to make us go counterclockwise. And I think the reason is this. I think that if we look at example 2 right here quickly and go and say, well, this would be quadrant number 1 in the upper right, quadrant 2, quadrant 3 down here in the bottom left, and quadrant 4. We run into a situation where if you go from quadrant to quadrant, you would move counterclockwise if you were moving numerically or chronologically through there. So, most math books won't make you go counterclockwise normally. So what I'm going to tell you right up here to start this today is this. If you're confused about what direction to go, if they do not give you direction, here's the deal. I'm going to write this down at the top. You should do the same. If no direction is given, then I want you to assume counterclockwise movement. Okay, assume counterclockwise movement. If no direction is given, then assume counterclockwise movement. And I know it's a little different than what we had said the other day, but let's make sure we've all got that. So, right up top there. If no direction is given, then assume counterclockwise motion. So in example 2, when we talk about this idea of rotating stuff, 180 we've already talked about. That doesn't change, okay? So what we want to do is jump down to example, the second one. Now if you've got stuff drawn here, leave it. It'll work out fine. But I'm going to go ahead and graph these vertices. So give me 1 second. We had 3, 1, 3, 4, and 1, 1. And right here, let me draw my triangle as best I can. So there's that. And I'm going to label my points A, whoops. A is 3, 1. Whoops. Smaller pen. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Oh, please don't leave. All right, so let me get on track here. Teaching on a Sunday. Not good. All right, A, your point A. Oh, my Lord, what is going on here? A is the point 3, 1. B is the point 3, 4. And C is the point 1, 1. Now in this right up here, guys, they tell us to rotate this 90 degrees about the origin. So what we're going to put up here, guys, is the following. We're going to say we're rotating 90 degrees counterclockwise, which is the same as going 270 degrees clockwise. And I want to state a rule for you. This is the general rule. We looked at a lot of rules on Friday, and I'm just going to get them down, and I'll show you where to go with it. And here's your rule. If you're going 90 degrees counterclockwise, or 270 clockwise, here it is. If you have an original point at, say, the point A, B, or X, Y, whatever the variables are, and you rotate it 90 degrees counterclockwise, then your image point becomes the following. It becomes, we've got to think about this. The opposite of B, A. So for my points over here, A being 3, 1, A being 3, 1, this means that A prime is going to map into, we're going to switch the order on 3, 1 to 1, 3, but I need to change the sign on that 1. So A prime is going to fall at 1, negative 3. B prime will fall at, now B is 3, 4, so I want to switch the order, it looks like, to 4, 3, but the sign on the 4 is going to switch to negative 4, 3. And I looked and see that I've got A prime incorrect up there. let's fix that. A prime right here should be -1, 3. And then finally C prime right here will become the following. Switch the order on it. 1, 1 would still be 1, 1, but then we change the order on the first to -1, 1. So let's see what this looks like here quickly. I'll blow this up here quick, and have my points right there, and we'll plot those. So A prime being -1, 3, left 1, up 3 is going to put you right about, well, let's pick a different color for this. How about -1, 3? There's going to be your A prime. B prime will be left 4 and up 3. And C prime is going to be left 1 and up 1. Okay? And I won't label all of them, but here comes your drawing for this right here. And that's your rotation 90 degrees counterclockwise or 270 degrees clockwise. So again, real important, make sure that, I would say have this rule down right here. This is important stuff right here. This is very, very important right here. Okay, so double check, make sure you have all that down. I'm going to get you the rules for the next one and kind of put all the rules together on the last page, look at some rotational symmetry, and I think you'll have enough to be able to be successful on the quick quiz today, which is the puzzle 11.3, and then the assignment that Mr. Gingrich is going to hand out today. So if anybody needs to pause and look at this again quickly and take it all in, now would be a good time to do that. All right, so on the third page, here we go again. On the third page, we're looking at rotating something right here now, 270 degrees, and again, no direction is given, so as stated at the beginning of this today, you want to go counterclockwise if no direction is stated. Again, that may be different than what I told you on Friday, so my apologies. First mistake I've made all year, at least that I can remember. So I'm going to plot those points A, B, and C again. And here we go with that. So as I draw my triangle again, or draw my pre-image, I don't want that green there. There's that triangle. And what we'll look to do here quickly is say a rule for the 270 degree rotation. So here it is. Rule for, basically it's 270 degrees counterclockwise or 90 degrees clockwise. So here it is. If your original point is a point A comma B, then under this rotation, counterclockwise 270 or 90 clockwise, your image will become the following. It will become A comma opposite of B. I'm sorry, I've got that wrong again. B comma opposite of A is what I meant. All right, B comma opposite of A. So looking at our points right here, I'll blow this up here again. Our points were A, B, and C. A being the point 3 comma 1. Looks like B was 3 comma 4 originally there, and C being 1 comma 1. So I'm going to go over here and write down what our image points would be. So A prime is going to become the following. Looks like we have to switch the order on A and B, and then make sure we switch the sign with A. So right up here for A, if I switch the order, that would become 1 comma 3, but that second value, the sign needs to change, so A prime will fall at 1 comma negative 3. B prime be the following. Switching the order would make that 4 comma 3, and then negating the second sign makes that 4 comma negative 3. And then finally C prime, 1 and 1 will switch to be the same. but I want to switch that sign to one negative one. So I've got that, and we'll see what this looks like for a rotation of 270 degrees. So the points that we had were 1, -3, right 1, down 3. 4, -3, or right 4, down 3. And then finally, right 1, down 1. And if you draw the figure here, folks, there's where your image figure falls right there. Okay, that's 90 degrees of rotation right there. And again, I can check. If I would draw a line from C prime to C through the origin, or an angle, if you will, angle that's formed right here, basically is 270 degrees counterclockwise or 90 degrees clockwise right there. All right, so I think it would be a good idea for us to look at the bottom below here and just get all these rules written down. And I think that once you have them, this will be the part of the notes that you'll refer to the most. So again, if you need to pause this at all to get everything down, make sure you tell Mr. Gingrich that you need them to pause. All right, core concept then. We're going to look at this core concept of 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and 270 degrees of rotation about the origin. Okay, so the first one I'm going to look at is all of this right here. I'm going to go ahead and go 90 degrees counterclockwise or 270 clockwise. Again, counterclockwise being this movement, this direction, clockwise being that direction. So here's the deal. I'm just going to put this all down here, and again, I think if you have all this core concept will be very important. Okay, really, this is all I think you'll need to refer to in your notes to make sure you do the assignment correctly. So if the original point in a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation is A comma B, then an image is the point. If I go back up to my notes, 90 degrees counterclockwise, in the last page right here, 90 degrees counterclockwise, A comma B is going to become negative B comma A. So I'm going to write that down here. All right, so that's the first one. All right, so that's our first one right there. Highly important stuff here. First one. Okay, next one then. If we're doing 180 degrees, this is the easy one. 180 degrees, direction doesn't matter. Half a turn's half a turn, either direction. If your original is A comma B, then the image point under 180 degrees of rotation about the origin shall fall at the point opposite of A, opposite of B. Just switch the signs on. Keep the order the same, switch the signs. Okay, so that was the second one there, and that was the easy one, like I said. So make sure you have that down. And then the last one here was 270 degrees counterclockwise, or 90 degrees, oops. Where is it? 270 degrees counterclockwise, or 90 degrees clockwise, if you will. And the rule again on this, just looked at it. If your original point is the point A comma B, then your image falls at the point B comma opposite of A. B comma opposite of A. So I think that if you just keep these rules close to you, and especially go off of this page right here, everything you need basically is in, well, this section, this, and this in terms of rotation. So again, if I confuse any classes on Friday about if no direction is given, assume clockwise, that's not true in this book for some reason. So if no direction is given, you must move counterclockwise. All right? Okay, the last thing I want to look at then is over here on page 4. We're going to look at a composition. And I forgot to write one thing down in there. Performing a composition, we're going to perform multiple moves here. Perform multiple moves. In this example right here, it says to graph the segment RS with endpoints -1, -3, and S at -2, -6, and the image after the composition. First thing it says to do is rotate 180. Okay, we're going to rotate our figure 180. That's first. One thing I forgot to put in there is that then after we rotate it 180, we're going to reflect it in the y-axis then. So here's what you're going to have. Let's get that first segment drawn in here. So our points for this. R is at -1, 1, -3. So right 1 and down 3. That is my point R. Okay, point R. And then S is at the point right 2 and down 6, it looks like. So right 2, down 6. That's my point S. And let's take a look at this here. Here's my segment that I would draw from R to S. Oh, let's get a line in here. So there's your line from R to S, folks. Okay, now, it said right in here, guys, that we want to rotate this 180 degrees. So to rotate this 180 degrees, your points A, comma B will become the opposite of A, comma opposite of B. All right, so the point 1, comma -3 will become -1, comma 3. And then a point -2, 2, comma -6. That'll become the point -2, comma 6. All right, so to show 180 degrees of rotation there, get our points plotted. We'll put R prime and S prime up there. R prime at 1, comma -3. So right 1, at -1, comma 3. Left 1 and up 3. There is R prime. And I'm going to move that to the other side here quickly. And I'll show you why. And then the other point, S prime, was 2, -6, became -2, +6, so left 2 and up 6. Here's my point S prime right here. And then between those 2 points, there's that segment. So there's the first move. That represents your 180 degrees of rotation right there. Now, second move, guys, simply says to reflect this over the y-axis. So to reflect this over the y-axis, you're just counting how far left the units are and moving them to the right. So here's what this looks like after you reflect it. So right here is my line of reflection. My line of reflection is the y-axis right here. We need to reflect about this line that I just highlighted. Okay, that's the y-axis. So R prime is 1 unit to the left, so to reflect it over here, R double prime is going to fall right there. Likewise, S prime, 2 units to the left of that line, so S double prime shall fall 2 units to the right. And this is what you're going to end up with for a composition of 180 degrees of rotation for that segment, and then a reflection in the y-axis. And always label your stuff. Always label your stuff. All right, very good. Last thing I want to talk about, guys, is rotational symmetry. Guys, basically, this triangle right here, if you would spin it around right here, these distances are all the same, okay? Questions that you're going to ask, does this have rotational symmetry? You're going to say yes, because if you would spin this one whole turn, it would fall on itself 3 times. So they're going to ask you, does this have rotational symmetry? You're going to say yes.
And then they're going to say, describe that symmetry. And you're going to say, well, fell on itself 3 different times in one whole turn. Okay? So to describe the symmetry, you're going to take 360 degrees, because that's the number of degrees in a whole rotation, and divide that by the number of times it falls on itself. 3 times. So in this case, we're going to say, yes, this has rotational symmetry every 120 degrees. Okay, 360 divided by 3 is every 120. This here, this would only fall on itself in one whole turn. So if it never falls on itself before one whole turn, we'll say no, there is no rotational symmetry. So I'm going to say no rotational symmetry. And then this last one right here, if you would make half of a turn, basically the top is the bottom and the bottom is the top, it would fall on itself. And then when you get to the full turn, it's its second time it falls on itself. So in one whole turn, it falls on itself 2 times. So this does have rotational symmetry. 360 divided by 2 is 180. So we're going to say yes, every 180 degrees. Now guys, I know that this is a pretty quick crash course on this, but do the best you can with the stuff that you have. Mr. Gingrich is going to try to help out with everything as I'm sure he can. And I guess if you have questions, you'll certainly have some time Tuesday in class to answer them when I get back. But make sure that you get the quick quiz done in class. Turn that in before you leave. Don't forget the online book page and the worksheet that Mr. Gingrich hands out. That won't be due until 4 o'clock on Tuesday. And I hope you kids all had a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday.